Here's a tweet from Kyle Kalinske. First, Kyle, I believe, as a high-profile, prominent public speaker of the left, he's gone insane. I don't know. I've listened to him before. I've considered him to be reasonable, but this is the most insane thing I've ever heard, these series of tweets. First, he says the original press conference from the New York Attorney General laying out the details of the fraud case against Trump was overwhelming. Anybody who thinks this is a witch hunt is either totally ignorant to the facts, lying, or has full cult brain. Kyle, you're in a cult. The government has no authority to issue a press conference and then a judge have a summary judgment that just strips multiple corporate entities of their existence. This is an insane level of corruption.
What's going on, everyone? Soxkin here today, and I want to analyze the influence of political commentators on public opinion. What reason you want to do this video? Well, you saw from the intro that there's a guy named Kyle Kalinske. Sorry if I said his name wrong. He has a YouTube channel called Circular Talks, and he's a lefty, right? And I wanted to make this discussion because I think a lot of these people, and I'm part of this group as well, even no matter my small audience at the time, we influence public opinion to a degree, and depending on your following, you have a sizable influence or minimal influence. And I want to kind of put this video out there so like people like me, because at the end of the day, I'm a producer as well as a consumer. I consume political content as well as I produce it. And I kind of want to give you a framework of how I kind of go through fact checking myself, like checking my own biases and checking people who I disagree with or agree with biases. Now, as you saw from the intro, they're talking about Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, the speculation that a New York judge. Now, this judge epitomizes condescending liberal. You're a judge in New York City making an evaluation on a property in Florida, and you calling it what, a 17-acre land only worth 18 million? And we're going to go get more clips with Tim Pool, because Tim Pool goes in on this. Because the problem with these like political people sometimes is sometimes they talk outside their wheelhouse, right? And the reason I like Pool so much is because he has a business as well. So I think he's more credible when evaluating how business operates, how the evaluation happens. So before I get into the meat of the video, this is a lefty here. I don't know who this guy is, but I don't care. I just want to attack his argument. The judge didn't rule it was worth 18 million. The judge cited the assessor's estimate of between 18 to 727 million in a 2011 to contract. Trump's claims that it was worth between $450 million to $650 million. Now, you're going to sit back and say, well, that sounds like fraud to me, Kenny. You're telling me Trump evaluated his property at $400 million at the least, and at the most $650 million, when the appraiser estimated it between 18 and 27 million. I have a problem with you. Assessor, what kind of assessor is that? Like, this is where I'm talking about. People need to get real clear when they use language. I think this is a problem of our current culture. We're so undisciplined that we just use language, and that can have multiple meanings. For instance, the assessor, right, this guy is talking about is a tax assessor. Okay, on this property, you'll be paying $18 million in taxes. And he's using that as a way of evaluating the property and saying, yeah, it's worth only 18 million. It shouldn't be, it's not worth 450 million. You're only paying 18 million in taxes for that, right? I only pay $4,000 in taxes for my property here in Florida, in my house right here, where I'm sitting here right now talking to you through the camera. I only pay $4,000 in taxes. So is my house only worth what? Maybe 40K? No, you call that insanity. You say, no way, I'm selling like a house in Florida. You're going to sell it for 40K? Bro, this is the kind of arguments that these lefties have. And the problem is these people don't have an actual deep understanding of exactly how their country works, exactly how business works, exactly how someone assesses something being valuable or not. So here's this next clip from Tim Pool, kind of pushing back against Circular Talks or Kyle for claiming that if you do not immediately agree with this position, you're in a cult. Let's take a look.
My issue is the argument from Kyle is that if the government issues a press conference, we're done. Shut them down. Sorry, that's insane and terrifying precedent. But there's more. Mark Levin showing Donald Trump's statement as to what's going on. He said, unbelievable. America has never experienced this kind of Stalinism that Trump is contending with. It's unconscionable. Conscionable. He says, you effing idiots refuse to make actual arguments based on the facts of the case because you know you can't. Nobody is forcing you to say stupid ish like this. Just say nothing. I'm sorry, dude. Kyle's lost the plot. I will make substantive arguments against you, Kyle, because this is insane. First, my point is of a moral and legal standard by which, yet we have trials, okay? At the very least, they should have allowed Trump's defense attorneys to issue these arguments in court. Now, I know the argument is that they already made these arguments and the judge rejected them. Then humor me for one moment. If you're going to make an extremely high-profile move against someone like Donald Trump, you need there to be a proceeding, lest you rip this country in twain. However, I can give you a substantive argument as to why the judge is lying and wrong, and so are you. Let's argue the facts. As I already pointed out, the key here is that the judge said no trial was needed. The judge also said that Mar-a-Lago is worth $20 million. A lie. I can prove it. Eric Trump says, in an attempt to destroy my father and kick him out of New York, a judge just ruled that Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida is only worth approximate $18 million. Mar-a-Lago is speculated to be worth well over $1 billion, making it arguably the most valuable residential property in the country. It is also corrupt and coordinated. Now, hold on there a minute. He calls it a residential property. Perhaps.
This is insane. If you've ever been in Florida, if you go to West Palm Beach, that's like Florida's one of Florida's most expensive zip codes in the country, not in the country, in our state, in the state of Florida. That's one of the most expensive places to live at. And you're saying it's only worth $18 million? Oh, you know, you're like, it's ignorance, right? And then the Kyle has the gall to say that if you don't follow along with the New York AG, pretty much using the fallacy of authority, that she details the case against Donald Trump. And if you don't believe it, you're in a cult. How you're not in a cult? Because my argument always is evaluate it both ways. Both of us in a two-way street. If you want to call me a cultist, how you know you're not a cultist? You don't. This is a cult. Like, yo, he's pretty much saying you cannot question our side. When our side says something, it's facts. It's true. That's dogma. Nah, I'm not. Yo, this is why that's why I can never stand liberals, bro. Kyle represents exactly what I used to deal with liberals growing up in college, high school, because I almost said something not nice. These people think that for some reason they have inherent credibility because they're a liberal, because they're on the left. No, you got to prove credibility with me. And this is the problem I have with a lot of, not political commentators, but this is the danger that political commentators can have on public opinion. Because if they're famous, they got a bigger following than you, they can influence people into believing wrong information. Like the tweet I just showed you before with the Luke guy. He just copied and parried the same talking points that Kyle brought up. Or, you know, it's like they all have a script and they all evaluate it, even though it's based on wrong information. It doesn't matter how smart you are. If your information is false, you'll reach a false conclusion. And Tim Pool's going to show you in this next clip.
Kyle Kulinski says, Mar-a-Lago gets revenue of $25 million per year. It's valued at a max $75 million. You idiots claim it's worth $739 million. You did this with virtually all of your properties to inflate net worth and get loans from banks on more favorable terms. Fraud. Not true. The evaluation, according to the news report, was between, I think, around 400 to 600. I think I have it here from Newsweek. So let me, Kyle's wrong. Trump had put the valuation of Mar-a-Lago at $426.5 million to $612.1 million in filings, which they said was an overvaluation of at least 2,300%. First, Kyle, your number's wrong. Flat out. I don't know where he gets this number from. This tweet really, really infuriates me as somebody who's run a business, who has run a startup that's received investor cash and was given a kooky tech evaluation. As someone who has dealt with this for 15 years plus, first, I am not the foremost leading expert on this, but I can simplify it for you. Before we get into the true value of Mar-a-Lago, let me just take Kyle's statement at face value. $739 million based on what he's saying at $25 million a year is a perfectly adequate evaluation based on revenue. First question I have for you. Kyle Klinsky is saying, if it makes $25 million a year, it must be only worth $75 million. Holy crap. Okay. First, let's not include the fact that it's a 17-acre or 17.5-acre property, beachfront to beachfront, and remove the hard asset from the revenue. Let's just ignore the real estate itself, Kyle, and talk purely revenue. Okay, first of all, a business evaluation does not just include revenue and speculation, it includes your hard assets. The value of Mar-a-Lago as real estate, substantial. But let's just pause right there. Okay, let's operate under the assumption of Kyle's pure ignorance. Pure ignorance. And I hope Kyle sees this. If you make $25 million per year and someone comes to you and says, I will buy your company off of you for $75 million, do you know what every single person would say?
No. No. Like, that's not a worthy offer, bro. I'm paying you up front to give me ownership. Ownership is forever. That means if you imagine giving up all that value, it's only worth 25 million. You sell it for 75. That person will make back his money in 3 years. That's not a good deal. That's not a good trade-off. And see, this is my problem with leftists, right? They hate capitalism so much, but they don't even understand capitalism. That's my problem with a lot of people who say capitalism is evil. It's because they operating from ignorance. It's the same thing with the gun control people. They don't understand how gun deaths actually happen. Who's actually responsible for gun deaths? And it creates solutions that don't actually solve the problem that they're complaining about. It's baffling to me, honestly, that this guy here can call Eric Trump, someone who has more intimate knowledge of the business, an idiot for evaluating it at $739 million. The hubris of the left. That's craziness to me. And I'm more shocked that people actually listen to this guy. Right? And this is why I say it's important for you guys to know that all of us here on all our talking heads, as much as we try to be objective, we're human. We have bias. And it's up to you to also do your due diligence. Use us as a guide, not as an arbiter of truth. All you can objectively see here is, hey, Kenny's giving a statement. Kenny points to this to hold his argument. And this is the conclusion Kenny has. What's my conclusion? You should ask yourself every time you watch a video based on politics, based on any information you get online. I think social media is both a double-edged sword. It's very helpful because it helps spread good information, but it's also harmful because it can spread bad information. And people are clamoring for influence over your mind. And that's the only thing you control as an individual, your own mind. So guard it like you will guard a pile of gold behind you. Make sure create a filter system. Oh, I trust Kyle. It must be true. No, fact check Kyle. Make sure Kyle is not leading you down a wrong conclusion because Kyle can be wrong. That's the facts. I'm humble enough to admit I could be wrong. That's why I like you guys to comment in the comment section, so we can share perspectives because it makes us all better. We all learn. We all become more educated. We all cure our ignorance when we trade. It's a two-way street. I speak, you check me, you agree with me, tell me why, you reflect on it. That helps me become better too. Because we only get better through competition, through argument, through debate, through exchanging information. I think that's the beauty of putting your opinions out there. That instead of getting 10 people to fact check you, and you might be the most smartest person in the room, which usually happens with me, you put your argument out in front of millions of people can possibly see this video, and they can share their perspective, and I can be better for it. And that's how I choose to observe this stuff. But hey, I digress. Tim Pool's going to continue wrecking this guy because this guy don't know nothing about business. And he's going to be the same one saying that, the rich is too rich. We need to tax them at 80, 90%. I digress. Let's look at the next clip. Tim's going in. Hey, this is one of Tim's best videos in my opinion. But let's take a look.
You need to pay me more than I'm already getting. So giving someone 2 years up front when they could sit back and just let the revenue pour in makes no sense. Understand this. Cost of living for the average person, no matter how wealthy, is literally never high as like I imagine Trump spent several $1,000,000 on his comforts and luxuries per year, or maybe 10, maybe 20, maybe even 50, who knows? But based on the net worth of his companies and how much money is coming in, I think it's what, 500 million or something. So he's living off 10%. I'm sorry, dude. You come to me and say, you'll give me 75 million for a $25 million per year business, not including the hard assets. Kyle, let's now include the hard asset so I can break down the absurdity and ignorance and despotic authoritarianism of your statements. What is Mar-a-Lago really worth? Based on $25 million in revenue, I would say you're going to have to give me 10 years up front. So I would say 250 million. Why? Otherwise, I'll just sit back. You've got to pay me more than it's already worth. 10 years up front for someone in their 70s, actually not a bad play. However, he has kids. He's already a billionaire. They're arguing he's not. He's super wealthy, has multiple jets. He doesn't need to sell it. This means that you have to pay a premium to buy it. But let's not talk about Trump's desires. Let's talk about hard facts.
The hard facts is that value is subjective. And there's no, objectively, you can say, oh, the house next door sold for this much. And then you take in their metrics. Okay, this person was able to sell this house for this much. Okay, it's 2,000 square feet. He sold it for $20 million. I have a 4,000 square feet house. That means I could probably sell it for double at least. And my house is more modern than his, so I can even up the price. Like, there's these different reasonings for why you have the evaluation that you have. And the fact that leftists don't understand this is concerning to me. It shows you how authoritarian the left really is, how fascist the left really is that they think, hey, I determine your value. This is a free house. You got to let us have it. Huh? No, I work so hard, like all the time, in blood, sweat, and tears I put into this house. You have to compensate me for this. No, the government need it. We'll have it. That's how Kyle comes across. It's valued at $24 million, Donald Trump. You over-evaluated this. It's fraud. According to who? You or according to the facts? Because this next clip here, to me, it should at least show you that Kyle don't know anything he's talking about. And this is how I think people should be more vigilant about the information that they decide to trust and digest, right? This is the same argument I make about the media. Malcolm X said it best. The media can make the guilty innocent and the innocent guilty. They control framing. This is how they try to frame it. Oh, this is fraud. When all this is a disagreement. So Kyle thinks fraud equals you disagree with the assessment of a New York judge. A New York judge evaluated a property at 28 million when there's houses way smaller than that going for more. Let's take a look.
To Zillow. Zillow has it currently listed as an evaluation of 24.2 million for Mar-a-Lago. However, Mar-a-Lago is not for sale. So this is essentially based on tax assessment data. That's it. The current tax assessment has it around 30 million, according to Zillow. I give you this property here. This is 500 Regents Park Road, Palm Beach, Florida. It is a 6,488 square foot, 6-bedroom, 5-bath, beautiful property with a swimming pool. Estimated payment per month, $267,000. Woo! Listed at $40 million. Wow, $40 million. This has got to be massive. I mean, it's worth more than Mar-a-Lago. It's got to be, wait, what? A half acre? That's it. This is a private residence, not a business, and it's a half acre, and it's listed at $40 million. Okay, whoa, hold on. I'm looking at this right here. We've got a $25 million property. Let's pull it up, ladies and gentlemen. This is how many acres? 0.39 acres for $25 million. Okay, what's Mar-a-Lago? Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the off-the-market assessments of Mar-a-Lago. It is 17.5 acres. Well, okay, let's do some math. 17.5. So we're saying that a half acre is 40 million. So let's do some math. A full acre would be 80 million. Okay, all right, hold on. I know. It's a half acre with a 6-bedroom, 5-bath. But if we're going just off of acreage, we can go off square footage. Off of acreage, let's say the lot itself going for 40 million minus the home. The lot, the home is not going to be worth that much. constructing a property like this, a 6,488 square foot property, I got to be honest, that's going to cost you what? Maybe if you're going to do it nice, let's say $1 million. The real value is the beachfront property in Palm Beach. So let's just say 40 million's fair. Half acre. That means an acre is $80 million. That would put the evaluation of the property of Mar-a-Lago close to $1.5 billion.
Yeah, that sounds about right, which is what Trump had it evaluated at. I think Trump had it evaluated at 2.2, but that's because the resident is not only just a residence, it's also a business. It's a club. It's a country club, right? Wealthy individuals go in, pay, and they have extravagance. They have tennis courts there. I don't know. They have a bunch of stuff they're doing there. Didn't they host, I forgot, the golf tournament. They hosted a golf tournament there. That means the asset is generating revenue, $25 million a year, according to Kyle, right? And on top of that, it's sitting on acreage. Just the land alone, at minimum, is worth $1 billion. The business is not worth $1 billion at least? Or the business doesn't help at least? Because you can't really do anything to that property. I think that property has like 58 bedrooms. 58 bedrooms. Essentially, it's a hotel. There's different things you can do on that thing. Bro, how you evaluate it? Just because you undervalue it and you want to accept your undervaluation as fact. That's what happened here. Especially that you didn't want a trial. That means you didn't want a counter argument. You know what the Stoics say? You do not prove a man wrong for preventing him from speaking. You prove that you will fear what he's going to say. And that's what this pretty much represents here. And I implore a lot of people, if you've seen this video, if you like this video, share it with somebody, like the video. I really appreciate you guys for watching to the end of this video. The point here is that as much as you want to put these people on a high horse, right? You still have to do the hard work of actually, hey, how do I know this person's actually true? Is he showing me something I can point to demonstrate that this is true and factual and not just a subjective opinion, aka Kyle? And then Kyle gets mad when you don't go along with his opinion, but he want to call you a cult. This is my problem with you liberals. Sorry, not liberals. He's not a liberal. This is my problem with progressives. They'll sit here, get mad that you don't go along with what they want you to go along, and they call you, yo, you're in a cult. You're in a Trump cult. You're in a cult. Look how you go after this man. Anything that happened to this man, you think is justified. The man can be killed and assassinated. You think, oh yeah, he deserved that. But you're not in a cult. Craziness. They don't apply their own standards. But hey, what do you expect from people on the left? They're not honest people. They don't respect honor. They only respect consequences. So one consequence you could do is, hey, Kyle doesn't have credibility anymore. Kyle has to have an uphill battle to have credibility here. Kyle, you were wrong about the Trump story. What else you could be wrong about? Oh, you just make snapshot judgments? Did you do your own research? How do you come up with that evaluation, Kyle, that is only worth $75 million? No, he just tell you, he decrees it, he demands it, he commands it, and you must follow. That's how he sees people. This is why I can't trust socialists. Because how you know when you give them power, they're not going to do the same thing that Kyle's doing right here. Prosecuting a man, making bold statements without any substantive proof to back up his claim. Oh, he did. Oh, no. They say that. It must be true. Appealing to authority. But you know what I say? Authority is made to be questioned. And that's coming from a nonconformist. I digress. Let me know what you guys thinking in the comment section. I hope you appreciate this video. I hope you like this video. I'm going to try not to hopefully it wasn't too long. But I'll catch you guys on the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I really do appreciate you guys for watching to the end of the video. And thank you. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.